Please welcome up Lara Lebeiko.
Hello, East Coast, West Coast Sheridan. Sorry you're so far away. As it was said, I do run the Twitter account for Bicycle Habitat, which is one of the largest bike stores in the country and in New York, obviously. It is in Soho, and in being there, I've had the unique position of being a bystander on the forefront of a very interesting and relevant trend that I think fascinates me because no one knows it's actually going on. So that's my not fancy bike, so I'm not actually a bike nerd. I will just play one for you for the next 4 minutes. As a precursor, I thought I'd give you a little history. We think of bikes as being around forever. Nerd out here, they're not actually, have not been around forever. This was what was called the dandy horse for when there was a shortage of horses. Obvious name. Now we have what they evolved into what you can see on the screen right now. It looks a little bit like Williamsburg on the Williamsburg Bridge. This is the pedal, but unfortunately it also acted as a catapult. So when you would hit a bump, you would hit your head because you would fall off. We had advancements in science. Aluminum became easily accessible. People started inventing things like brakes, like gears. Suddenly everyone wanted to ride bikes. So around the turn of the century, 1900s, bikes were big. So let's look back at Manhattan. Boston has a reputation for being designed by cowpath, where they followed cows and paved the roads. New York, however, was much more sophisticated. So in 1811, they came up with what is called the Commissioner's Grid map, and it's what we know now as, lines north and south, more or less, lines east and west, more or less, sort of building the foundation for a city to function and grow. And as we know, because we're all here, it did grow. So we established new norms. So I know I'm talking about the 1800s, but stick with me, it's relevant. Central Park, we created bridges, we built subways in the 1900s. Ford built cars, we bought them, and all of a sudden there's this massive way of getting around town. But there's a bike boom all of a sudden, also relevant. We sell out of bikes. So all of a sudden, bikes, cars, popular. Here we are in New York City. We can get around easily. What's going to happen? Brings us to present day. Lots of bikes, lots of cars. What's a girl to do? We'll figure it out. So what I've learned from working with Bicycle Habitat is there's the struggle now, but the struggle is not new. In the 1970s, I have heard many interesting firsthand stories about illegally painting bike lanes where cars would not respect them. Bikers got spit on avenues. They got yelled at, cursed at, cut off. Worse than what we saw in Bedford Avenue, where they illegally painted bike lanes just this past year. So now we also have a struggle for access. How do you get on the bridge? Brooklyn Bridge was not actually originally supposed to have bike access. So we consider it a given there are ramps. We consider it a given there are ramps on Manhattan Bridge. These are not norms. But the problem is the city's congested and it is not sustainable for the long term. We all know that, but it's also from a lifestyle perspective. It's just not that cool to walk outside your door and see this. You're not like, oh, home sweet home. You're like, get me out of Times Square. So New York is a little bit more conducive to changing into a bike-friendly community than the American lifestyle. We own less cars, we make shorter trips, and we have all of these pathways that are actually being used by inefficient means of transportation. So we have these new people coming along. I call them Robin Hoods because they're taken from the cars and they're given to the bikes, and a lot of people don't like it. But what I find interesting, Janet Sadik-Khan with Department of Transportation, she works with Mayor Bloomberg, has been very aggressive, yes, here, to taking it, and as they have made more room for bikes, more people have started cycling. 20% increase last year, 20% increase the year before. People are riding, lots of people are out there. However, as I said, we're not all super excited about it. What's a girl to do? What's a guy to do? First of all, pedestrians, a great tip is actually just to get out there and try it. Don't walk in the bike lane and watch your doors when you open them because we run into them when we walk. We run into them when we drive, we run into them when we bike. Also, cyclists, obey the rules, learn the rules. Don't ride the wrong way. Communicate, use your bells, and don't ride on the sidewalks. And Bike Snob, who is a very popular cycling blogger, has come up with the phrase salmoning. That means you're going the wrong way on the street. That means the people going the right way have to dodge you, and someone might be in front of a car. So there are ways we can get along, there are ways to adjust. I would say that overall the most important thing is that Cycling is not the answer, but it is an answer to improve lifestyle, improved resource use, and improve longevity for the city. Get involved on hashtag on Twitter, IgniteNYC. Thank you.